Hi everybody, thank you for stopping by. Welcome to my channel. My name is Judy. My channel is Judy in the Skies. So if you're new here, welcome, and I hope I have something here that is interesting for you. I've been working on a project, and the last time I posted, I was supposed to do this, and apparently Spirit said that I wasn't ready because I hadn't gathered enough information to be able to make this happen. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that I go through this and with no issues. Spirit says that I am ready and that I've got some notes here and I've got some notes here. And I'm going to read a lot of it off because it took me several weeks to gather all this information. As a matter of fact, it took me several months coming in through Spirit at different times. And originally it didn't make any sense to me. A lot of things come to me via images, feelings, kind of like hints. I get music, like some lyrics, videos, things like that. So for me, I don't get, my intuition isn't like, somebody stands before me and recites something for me to share with you. That's not how Spirit works through me. Spirit makes me work for my answers and the gifts that they give me. And I appreciate that because for me, I think if I was to have Spirit pop in front of me, I'd probably freak me out. So I think they just work a little bit more gentler with me. So, okay, so let me just start back and just to be up front. I didn't expect this channel, and not that it will be, but I don't want it to be a political channel. However, Spirit has been giving me these hints, and I'm just like, what? All these things that come up, and I am finally grasping what Spirit wants me to share. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. So I'm just the messenger. Okay, so I'm going to read here because it's on my computer because my printer still isn't working. Technology doesn't like me. Anyways, okay, so let's go back. So I'm going to read. It says, these are all the notes that I've been pulling out for the last couple of weeks, and I'm trying to put them in chronological order as best as I can so that it kind of makes a story. So I'm going to share with you what has transpired through my experience on how Spirit talks to me and what I believe Spirit wants to share with you and the masses. So here we go. So in November, I noticed after the election, I was wondering, why are the MAGA people so upset? I mean, really, they won, right? Their Orange Crush won. So even before the election, I noticed that it was discussed that on a majority of, if not all of the U.S. military bases were showing Fox News, okay? And I thought, wow, that's kind of limited, Anyway, so I didn't think much of that. That was something that came to me. Not sure why that would pop up, but it did. Fast forward. So just recently, I was thinking, because I was starting to put all this stuff together, and I thought, I really believe that people are inherently good. They are. We are all born, we're innocent, innocent beings, and through how we were brought up and our experience in life shows us who we become growing up. Anyway, so I thought, what brought this MAGA mania? This the Great Divide is what I call it. So I didn't understand that. So I was questioning, like, why are these people so angry? Why has it come to like this? It's just basically it's torn not only this country apart, but also the world. It's been really challenging, and it's on the forefront of anybody who's really paying attention these days of what's really going on. So my thought comes to that. And then what came to mind was that these people were watching Fox News and other far-right media, right? Okay, so that's a given. That's their go-to. Cool, whatever. I believe that they are being subjected to subliminal messaging. That was what I got. I thought, that's interesting. So, and then I thought, TV and then radio? So hold on, I'm getting there. So I believe that the people are being programmed to believe something that's not congruent, meaning that's not in agreement or in harmony to reality. What it does, I feel, this is me talking now, it does something to our system, our bodies, which creates dis-ease, like the word disease is dis-ease, and agitation. And that's what I was getting at that time. I thought, maybe that's what's happening. Maybe that, media is, putting subliminal messages on our TV screens, our phone screens, radio waves. And I thought about that. So I thought I'd decide to look it up. And I came across two different things. One was, the first one that I came up with was this blog called Snoops. And it says here, and I'll read it to you. Subliminal advertising began in 1957 with the publication of Vance Pickard's book, The Hidden Persuaders. Although Pickard did not use the term subliminal advertising, he did describe many of the new motivational research marketing techniques being employed to sell products in the booming post-war American market. Okay, advertisements that focused on consumers' hopes, their fears, their guilt, and their sexuality were designed to persuade them to buy products they never realized they needed. Marketers would then reach into the hearts and minds and the pocketbooks of the American consumer as well. So then here comes this gentleman named James Viceroy, who coined the term subliminal advertising. And he conducted a one experiment in Fort Lee, New Jersey movie theater in the summer of 1957 on the film Picnic, is what it was called. He flashed a couple of different messages on the screen every 5 seconds for only 150th of a second at a time. It's far below the viewer's threshold of consciousness perceptibility. Okay, now, if you know me, you know I was never a good student. So if I'm having to do this to find out what Spirit is trying to say to me and to bring it to you, this is important to me because this is all entertainment purposes only, right? But I think there's something here. So here we go. So at the time, drink Coca-Cola and hungry, eat popcorn. Coca-Cola sales increased 18.1%, and the whopping 57.8% jumped in the popcorn purchases. And this is all I'm pulling from the internet, right? Thus demonstrated the awesome power of subliminal advertising to coerce unwary buyers to making purchases they would not normally otherwise consider. So then, going further, it says here that more than 40 years, which includes the belief the Federal Communications Commission banned subliminal advertising from radio and television airwaves in 1974, okay? So you can see how far this has come, right? Okay? Despite the fact that no studies had shown it to be effective, and even though its alleged efficacy was based on a fraud. Okay? Moving on. Viceroy later said he lied about the results of his experiment when he was challenged to repeat the test by the president of the Psychological Corporation, Dr. Henry Link. Why would radio and television stations begin airing subliminal commercials, leading to 2 congressional bills to ban the practice being introduced in 1958 and in 59, both of which died before being voted upon. Okay, and in 1973, Dr. Wilson Key picked up where Viceroy left off, publishing Subliminal Seduction, an indictment of modern advertisements filled with hidden messages and secret symbols, including the notorious example of the word sex, spelled out in the ice cubes pictured in the liquor advertisement. I remember those, hearing about those. Okay, so then it goes on, and I'm going to go ahead and I'll post all of this information on here. I'll pin it so you can go ahead and just look at it and, read it, all of it for yourself. The old subliminal advertising controversy was stirred up again in January of 1974 announcement by the FCC that subliminal techniques, whether effective or not, were contrary to the public interest, and that any station employing them risked losing the broadcast license. Okay? So it says, for neither the first nor the last time, a great deal of time and money and effort was expended and on protecting the public from something that posed no danger to them. So I have to say here, so why am I bringing this up? So before the inauguration, 45 announced his appointment picks. My image automatically went to the Trojan horse, okay, being rolled into the White House. That's how spirit comes to me. It shows me that things that perhaps I might not be able to pick up on, like a word, but seeing an image gives me more information if I just sit there and think about it a little bit. So here we go. So, okay, so the Trojan horse, right? Here's some examples. The Greeks built a giant wooden horse, as we all know. They leave the horse outside the city walls as an offering to Athena, the goddess of war. The Trojans bring in the horse into the city and celebrate, right? And at night, while the Trojans sleep, the Greek soldiers hiding inside the horse emerge and open the city gates. And the Greek army enters, and the city, excuse me, I'm wearing my glasses, but I'm trying to look at this, and it's kind of far. So the Greek army enters the city and defeats the Trojans. So basically, the enemy is within, right? The enemy obviously was in the horse. It gets rolled into the gates, and they take over. So the significance of the story is the term Trojan horse is used to describe a situation where something appears to be beneficial, but it is actually harmful. And I thought, it's interesting because I know the concept of everything, and when you see it, when you're looking at it, you kind of go like, okay, I get it. Like I get it originally I got it, but it actually puts more emphasis on it when you actually see it on the layers that I've been given to from spirit. So moving on, because there's a lot here. This blows me away. It's just amazing. Okay, so after that, this is probably, because that was around November, December. So I can't remember when it was. I don't have around the date times of this. Somewhere around, I believe it is, so it had to have been in January. So it's the beginning of January, around maybe Christmas time in January. So sometimes around that time, I got the word asylum, just the word asylum. And I thought that was interesting. And I knew I'd seen the movie several years ago, a movie called something about asylum. So the asylum, so it's called the Stonehurst Asylum, was the movie that I seen. And that was debuted in 2014. Ben Kingsley played Dr. Lamb, and Dr. Newgate was played by Jim Sturgis, and Eliza was played by Kate Beckinsale. Beckinsale? Yeah. While Michael Caine plays Dr. Salt. Okay. And again, like I said, I will link all of this information on the show notes. So when you are interested in taking a look at what I'm talking about here and see how this all kind of comes together, I'll put it in the show notes as well. So the gist of the movie is that the patients are running the asylum. Much like what we're observing today here in the US and in other parts of the world, right? Okay. So that's, I get that, and I'm like, God, it's like amazing how Spirit kind of says like, yeah, that's what's pretty much happening. So fast forward to early February, I happened to be watching. Now this is by far the best. Spirit's amazing. Fast forward to early February, I happened to be watching a documentary, and it's a funny thing. Like I said, obviously you don't know me, but I don't watch TV. I don't even have channel stations. I have like some internet stuff, and anyway, so I just happen to have Max because I have an iPhone through AT&T, so they give you Max. So I just happened to see a documentary called Reality, and it's on Max, and it's based on a true story okay, of Reality Winner. And that is her real name. Her real name is Reality Winner. And if you don't know this story, you should. You need to know who she is. Okay, so Reality Winner, like I said, is her real name, and it's played by Sydney Sweeney. Okay, so Reality is a 2023 movie about an NSA, which is a National Security Agency whistleblower, Reality Winner. So the gist of the movie is this, okay? Reality tells a story of the winner, the gal, a former U.S. Air Force member and NSA translator who leaked an intelligence report to the news website, The Intercept. The report detailed Russian interference in the 2016 U.S. elections. Winner was convicted and sentenced to 5 years, 3 months in federal prison. And so I've just pulled this off of the internet, off of the movie, and it says, it features the movie's dialogue is largely unaltered from the FBI's transcript and the stage production. So it's really interesting. So what they did is the FBI agents has a recorder on. And so they basically bust her, and the recorder is recording the whole time they're spending with her. Going through her house and all of her stuff, and they're talking to her and everything. So, and it's actually verbatim. So the actual actress plays the real Reality Winner, and her conversation is exactly what is stated. Okay, it's really an interesting documentary and how they came up with this. So it also shows that the FBI agents communicate with people who are in trouble. It also demonstrates why Winner's voice was so important, and it's just amazing. Okay, so here's me talking, because I'm writing this down because I have to put everything down because there's just so much here. I write, what I found interesting was that whenever a redaction was needed due to the actual sensitivity of the information that was discussed, the audio and the image would become pixelated. And when I first saw that, and I thought, that's really weird. So I thought it was my TV, or, I'm tripping or whatever. So I rewound it, and thank God I did, because if I was at a movie theater, I'd probably go like, what the hell was that, right? Again, it's like a subliminal message. It's so weird how I was given subliminal message from Spirit a month or so or two before I'm seeing this, and then I see this documentary that has these pixels that remind me of a subliminal message. Okay, so put a pin in that. Okay. I thought it was my TV until I rewound it and proved to be exactly what I saw. Anything that was redacted, she and her voice would be pixelated. This woman wasn't stupid. Having first-hand eyes on deception, corruption in the 2016 presidential election and injustice that it ensued. I don't believe she was a traitor to our country. That's my opinion. Through this whole exchange and interrogation, the FBI agents were actually pretty cordial with her. So how does this all fit into what I feel my spirit team wanted me to know and to show me? Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. At the end of her interrogation, she finally shares with the agents what she did, how she did it, and why. And the thing that stood out for me that she said at the end, in her own words, was that she hated Fox News, and that it's all they had on their TV that was sitting right next to their cubicles, by the way, and that it wore her down, and that she had wished, at least on occasion, that they would put anything on the TV. She would rather have them have puppies other than Fox News. And you'll find this portion in about 52.45 minutes mark on the movie Reality, because I looked at it again and I went back to figure out where would be the good time for you to take a look at exactly what part of that portion of where she talks about how she breaks down and that she felt that Fox News was a big part of it. Excuse me. Plus it shows all the pixels too, which I didn't realize it. Again, that was another time that it came up. Also, it notes, and what I'm also going to put in is a Wikipedia on her, And then it talks about the movie, and it talks about, you know, what she had, her ordeal that she had gone through, and all of that. But on the bottom, it states that the notes that the same document Winner leaked was later used on the Senate floor as evidence of the Russian interference. So that's really interesting. So I'm also going to pin another documentary, and this one is called Programming the Nation, Subliminal Messages to the Masses. And that was done 3 years ago, so whatever that was. And I'll pin that as well. That one was really interesting because it talks about brain entrainment and how the military uses it to put fear, and basically who owns the radio stations and the newspapers, and also the mass media basically controls the masses. And I think a lot of people could agree with that. But there was also a thing that I thought was interesting. If you start at 1 hour and 20 minutes, because it's kind of a long, you know, like under 2 hour documentary, but I think it's worth watching. But I think that at 1 hour and 20 minutes is a good, if you don't want to watch the whole thing, which is fine, 120 and just finish it to the end, gets to the basic meat of what I'm trying to get here, I guess, and what the whole documentary is about. It talks about who owns the channels, of course, in the media. It also talks about a project Solo, which is airborne radio and TV, how it infiltrates the masses when it's going over specific areas, and how it actually makes people feel this agitation. And I guess if you probably know this or not, there's a thing called Havana syndrome. That's, I guess, something that's similar to this. Again, this is for entertainment purposes only. The only reason why I'm bringing this up is that it's been something that Spirit has been giving me little pieces, and I'm trying to put it all together. And I think that's what Spirit wants me to share, is that, you know, I think that humans are inherently good people. And I think that when we become manipulated on things that we know that doesn't sit right with us in our bodies, that we become agitated and aggressive and just don't think logically. There's just, you know, and I think that's probably why a lot of people are just so angry, and you could tell them, like, you know, they're, you know, you're not listening, you're not getting the right information, and they probably still wouldn't get it, you know. And that's really sorry to hear or to say, and to even think that that's a problem. But I think that you know, I just fear for young kids that, you know, parents put them in front of their phones just to kind of keep them quiet, instead of, you know, have them take off their shoes and go run out and get your feet dirty. Get in the mud. So I think that we just all need to look at that, you know. It goes into also in this movie documentary, the last one I talked about, the Programming of the Nation, it shares, I don't know if you were aware of it, because I sure wasn't, during the Bush and Gore presidency, Bush, he would run ads, and there was one ad particular that would say Democrat, and it would just split the word Democrat and make rats in it. And it shows in this documentary that I guess a film engineer broke the film apart, and you could see it. I mean, and even he says, he goes, you just don't put this in here by accident. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So you kind of wonder what's really going on. I mean, because when you even see something that's jumbled or incorrect or even backwards or upside down, you could still read it. I mean, because our minds are that amazing. Even though it might be incorrect, we still get it. So if we can see that, what else could we see that we're not being shown directly, is what I'm saying. So yeah, that's, let me see what else I have here, because let me go to the bottom, check more of my notes. I know this sounds a little wild, but like I said, I'm just sharing with you what I'm being told. And okay, so wait, there's more. Okay, okay, so after watching this documentary, there was another aha moment, okay? And that spirit was telling me that something was going on here and that we need to pay attention to. And I think that's a lot of it. This is all of it. I think spirit was saying that, I think we're subliminally being manipulated. Let's be real, okay? But, I think, a lot of people can probably wrap their head around it. We just need to maybe not put so much energy in our media these days. But I have no, I'm just little old me. So here's the thing, which I thought was really interesting, is this past Saturday, I got the song in my head. It was the I Saw the Signs. Okay, it's a 90s song by Ace of Base. It's another indication I'm putting this all together. Okay, so let me show you about that, because when I heard the song, I'm like, okay, well, this doesn't really sound, I get it, like, I saw the signs, so Spirit's telling me, yes, Spirit, thank you, I saw the signs, so I'm putting it together, right? But today, because like I said, I couldn't present it because I didn't have all the information. So what I did is I looked at the song and looked at the lyrics, and this is what I found interesting. So the first line, or the first portion of the song, and this is what I think that the MAGAs are saying, Trump and all his sycophants are saying is, I got a new life. You would hardly recognize me. I'm so glad. How can a person like me care for you? Why do I bother when you're not the one for me? Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds pretty much like what these people are doing. They're not taking care of their constituents. They're not taking care of the people that supposedly voted for them, okay, or the ones that did. That's what they're telling them. That's just me saying, I mean, I could have picked out a different song, or another song could have come up, but it didn't. This song did. So let's go on, because we got more on the song. So then I was looking at it. So the next lines is what I feel that the majority is saying. Okay, the majority that do not believe what these people are doing is, this is how it goes. Is enough enough? I saw the sign and it opened up my eyes. I saw the sign. Life is demanding without understanding. I saw the sign and it opened up my eyes. I saw the sign. Now wait. No one's going to drag you up to get into the light where you belong. But where do you belong? I think that saying right there is telling the people, the MAGAs that voted for this guy, is no one's going to drag you up to get to the light where you belong. But where do you belong? Because now they're just like spinning, because they were duped. They were lied to. They were used. Okay, and then it goes on. For so many years, I wondered who you are. How could a person like you bring me joy? So for me, that made me feel like these are people that we love, that are family members, that are on opposite views of how we think. That, for so many years, because this has been going on for several years, right? So for how many years I've wondered who you are. Like, who are you? Like, you're my friend. You're my family member. We were raised as a family unit, but how do you see things so differently than I do? Or how do I see something so differently than you do, right? And how could a person like you bring me joy? Meaning, to me, how I'm interpreting this is that, how can a person like you, who we don't believe in the same thing, could bring me joy? How could we sit there and break bread together again, when I feel that if anything ever happened, you'd be the first person to turn me in. You would be the person that would turn, and Franken. Isn't that horrible? That's what I get. This is what I get. This is my interpretation of what I'm seeing here. I know it's heavy, and it makes me sad because I don't understand it, but I don't want to bury my head in the sand either, right? So I know that this is not what this song means. I don't know what this song means, but I thought that was interesting that Spirit brought this up because to me, it has a different meaning on what we find going on today. So as you could see, I've been sitting on this for a while, and it's not easy. And but I think that my spirit team just had something to say, and that I think that I feel now better to know that my spirit team, I feel, is saying that these people are being manipulated. I think maybe we all are being manipulated in some way, and some more than others, some a lot more aggressively, depending on what you're watching. And just the agitation, the aggravation, the hate mongering, it's pretty heavy. And I could say that having Spirit put it this way, I feel like maybe it's not really their fault, that they've been just sucked into that vortex. And I just hope that they get to see the signs, that they finally see the sign. So with that, I'm just going to let it go, and let me know what you think. Again, like I said, I'm just the messenger for entertainment purposes only. Let me know what you think. And because, you know, we talk about, was there something else here? I think there was something else. Oh, there is. I'm so sorry. Hold on. There is something very interesting. So, and I wrote on here, however, there's more. So when I looked at the trailer to the movie Stonehurst, Asylum, so I will pin again, like I said, I will pin all of this on here. After watching the trailer several times, you know, because I was trying to pick up, like, what are we saying here? I'm trying to figure this out. And I kid you not, after watching it several times, this is the trailer now, I hadn't noticed it prior to the last line in the trailer. The last line in this trailer, Michael Caine's character, Dr. Salt, says, all games must end. Let's hope so. All right. So anyways, what I want to do, thank you for staying till the end. I'm going to offer everyone, if you go to my website, judyintheskies.com, and that's JUDYINTHEKSKIES.com. I'm going to offer a 25% off of all of, you know, all March. So March Madness, isn't that appropriate? So 25% is the discount I'll be giving on all my readings in March. All right, thanks so much. Have a good day. Bye for now.